I traveled to Japan with my boyfriend's mom and it became a nightmare. Should I break up with him? I, 26, went on a 12-day Japan trip with my boyfriend and his mom. We've been together for less than 2 years. I already told my BF from the beginning that I wasn't comfortable traveling with his mom as she has a strong attitude and I knew we would clash. He bought my ticket anyways and told me he wanted me to experience Japan as well and that his mom would most likely do her own thing. This was my first out-of-the-country trip and it was also going to be my birthday. When we get on our bus to our hotel, it's common manners to be quiet and no one was talking. When we ask her to politely lower her voice, she's like, "Why do I have to follow the rules, so what?" This irritated me as this isn't our country and we should be respectful. We go to a fancy mall where my BF and I have no interest in anything here since we couldn't afford it. So we tell her to take her time looking around and shop for whatever she wants. So we leave her, but we're in the same vicinity and my back's killing me due to all the standing and walking we've done. So we go to a cafe and buy a small peach juice, need to buy food to sit down. She sees we're at the cafe and gets mad that we didn't ask her if she wanted anything when we were only there to sit down. So she storms off and goes back to the hotel on her own. At this point I don't talk to her anymore unless she talks to me. I leave her alone and let her talk to her son and give them space whenever I can. I finished cleaning my laundry in the bathroom and lay down on my bed. Out of nowhere she starts screaming in Tagalog. Turns out my boyfriend let her know that his luggage space won't be able to fit her stuff and that she needs to be careful of how much she buys so that it'll all fit. Mind you, we all have our own carry-on and large check-in bag because we all wanted to buy stuff in Japan. She goes off on him and tells him he's going to have bad karma, but it's literally his own luggage and she could buy more luggage or ship it off if she needs to. I felt bad because my BF started buying less and I offered to put his stuff in mine as well. She also said that we've been selfish for not going where she wants to go. Except we've been going to the second-hand stores she wants and I always ask my BF if they want to leave me while I go shopping / have their own time together to do whatever they want. Also the fact that we didn't go to Universal but we planned this trip 3 months in advance with a whole itinerary and let her know we were doing Disney Sea over Universal. The screaming was just so unnecessary, and this is where she continues to act like a child for the rest of the trip. Where she'll just take off with no communication, huffs at us, mutters stuff under her breath. I found out that she usually travels with my BF, her other son, and her husband, but is divorced. My BF has told me that he places his mom first before me. He does treat me like a princess, carrying my bags, going where I want if I ask, doing all the navigation. So I see where she's used to being the main princess and with me around she didn't get her usual treatment. So she ended up throwing a fit. As people are getting seated in the airplane, she gets in my face in front of everyone, angrily points at me and says that if I want my BF I can have him. That it's a competition between me and her for her son. That I've been hogging him this whole trip. I don't say anything back because I'm literally in shock and I don't want to rile her up more. I broke down crying the whole 5 hours back to Lex. My boyfriend didn't defend me, didn't comfort me. I was supposed to go back home with them, but I'm so thankful that my friend was able to come pick me up instead because she was still mad after the plane ride. I wasn't able to fully enjoy my Japan trip as I was always walking on eggshells and didn't get to celebrate my birthday. Should I break up with my boyfriend because of his mom? Comment. Controversial take on here as people love to hate on the son, and the mom. Mama's boys are the ultimate grooming victims. It starts at birth. Guys that would shut their mom down, will have been raised to be independent adults. Mama's boys are the opposite of that. Only seen one out in the wild in all my time. He's 53 and still lives alone with his mom, never had a relationship, ended up being a proper weird guy that lost all his friends. Many of which really side-eyed their relationship. While it's true it is abusive for a mother to turn their son into a mama's boy and groom them to be that, it's the same with other family abuse in that as an adult, you have to step away from that family or get therapy and set boundaries and so on, or be dragged down with them. It is really sad, and it's unfair that his mom abused him into this, but Op can't help him if he doesn't want to or can't see the issue. Sucks all around, but yet it is absolutely abuse to raise your son like this. I agree. My ex is a mama's boy not because of her grooming him but because of his father's abuse. She became perfect in his eyes, even though she didn't do anything to save my ex from his father's abuse. There are some that finally break free of their mothers, they go no contact. They are groomed but they are also grown and know it isn't healthy or acceptable. Unless they have lived in a cave with no contact but their mom they know. A lot of these guys have several failed relationships due to their mother. If they aren't willing to shut this down, they should stop dating. The main problem isn't his mom. It's the fact he let his mom be abusive towards Up and did nothing to protect her. He did not try to mediate and plan a compromise so both can have an enjoyable trip. He just let his mom do whatever she wanted and at the least tolerated her being nasty and attacking Up. He showed and even clearly said that Up is not his priority. Why waste your time any longer for someone who doesn't even respect you enough to ensure you're not being abused? This trip was incredibly eye-opening for me, and after a significant amount of consideration, I just don't see how this relationship can continue to develop in a healthy way. I have a few items of yours at my place, just let me know if you'd like to collect them or have me arrange delivery to you. I agreed. I will say this knowing a ton of things about the traditional Filipino culture and my ex being a Filipino woman who has an older brother, and is the first child. I do not want to seem racist / generalize / stereotype this, but my Filipino best friends confirmed the same. The firstborn son is the golden child and the mommy issues are to the extreme. They can do no wrong and as much as they rebel, are always going to be the favorite. I've witnessed my ex's older brother literally yell at his mom and she would coddle him after, saying that he knows that she loves him and he's the favorite. Verbatim. From what I've seen, they will not go against their mother's wishes, and although they may rebel, they don't necessarily stray off, if that makes any sense. They will not support you in situations like this, and sadly, you've witnessed it. This is how a traditional Filipino mother will see you, not family, but competition. Like you are going to change her sweet boy and take him away from her. Edit. Of course not every single traditional Filipino mother will be like this. They're usually very loving and caring, but this is incredibly common. My best friends' mothers are the same way when it comes to their boys and women. Relationships have plenty of room for both partners to be very close with their respective families, but ultimately if marriage is the goal, or even if you want to just stay a strong couple without marriage, to each their own, this will never, ever work. I would argue that 90% of the time where a male, or Phil for that matter, feels the need to fight for their child, the relationship won't last. Do you really want to feel like you're competing for your BF's attention the rest of your life? What happens if you have kids, and mommy dearest calls because she just doesn't feel very seen at the moment and he goes running to her side? It sucks that you've been together over a year already, but honestly Up, you need to cut your losses. He's already told you, quite literally it seems from your post, that you will never come first. This is a relationship where his mom raised him as the partner she wanted, not as a man with good morals who would make an amazing partner to someone else. Time to pack up and find someone better. Story 2. My husband's female work friend told him she has feelings for him. What should I do? Essentially, my husband and I have been married for 3 months and are having to do long distance until I can find a job and move out to where he is. He took a job and relocated just before we were married. Recently he went out drinking one night with some friends he made at his new job and ended up staying on someone's couch because he drank too much to drive home. He lied to me and said he was staying at a male friend's apartment, when it was actually a woman's. He works with this woman, she's about my age, has dyed red hair, and she comes from a very wealthy family. This is basically all I know about her from what my husband has told me. I am pretty good at detecting lies and I called him out about it. After some convincing, he told me the truth. Apparently she told him at some point that night that she liked him and had feelings for him. She also supposedly knows that he is married. I'm quite upset about this. I think it's harder to deal with while I am hours away in a different state because I'm just not present to meet any of these work friends. I'm also a little worried that he is not telling me the whole story and something else happened. He lied about where he was staying that night and he deleted the text history between them. He says he lied about it because he didn't want me to worry and get upset, and also that he handled it and explained to her that he is flattered but married. I'm really hurt that this woman completely disrespected my marriage, and part of me wants to reach out to let her know that there is a real person on the other end of the situation that was hurt by her actions. And also to kindly ask her to keep things between them strictly professional, as what she did is inappropriate on multiple levels. They work together, so they will see each other often. It worries me to think of what this woman expected would happen when she told my husband she had feelings for him, that he was going to reciprocate them. As a single woman, men who were married or engaged would occasionally try to flirt with me. However, once I found out that they were not single, I chastised them for disrespecting their relationship and spouse/fiancé. I don't understand how someone could knowingly try to ruin a marriage like this, and I think she should know that what she did was wrong. Yes, my husband said he handled it and that he will not be seeing her outside of work, but he doesn't seem to understand the gravity of it all in terms of how it makes me feel, and I think he was probably very nice about it when he told her that he was married. I'm worried she may still be harboring these fanciful ideas about my husband. Should I confront her about it? Just trust that it's been handled and nothing else is going on? Insist to meet more of my husband's work friends so they know that I am an actual person with feelings? Comment. Suspicious. Your husband spending the night at another woman's house, especially after they've told you they're interested in you, is way over the line. I wouldn't trust this man. I'd stay where you are and see if I could get an annulment. What a way to start a marriage. Correction. You have been hurt by his actions, not hers. He is the one who spent the night at her home. He is the one who lied to you. This woman, while I do not condone or defend her behavior, has absolutely no commitment, duty, or obligation to you. Your husband does. You don't have a husband's coworker problem. You have a husband problem. I never said otherwise. I am not sure what part of I do not condone or defend her behavior, and of course she played a part you are finding so difficult to understand. But if Op thinks that the solution to her problem is to try to control the behavior of her husband's coworker and to basically ignore her husband's part in all of this, she's delulu. Even if it works with this particular woman, husband can, and probably will just find someone else to screw around with. This woman is not the problem here. The problem is your husband, who got way too drunk on an outing with work colleagues, went home with a woman he's apparently gotten close enough to in just a few short months for her to be comfortable confessing feelings, and then lied about it to you. Focus on addressing that instead of begging her to keep him under control, or this is going to happen again. Yet also he deleted their text history. I try not to generalize, but to be honest, I'm not sure if I remember a single story where someone was deleting their text history with a third party and not clearly and obviously in the wrong. Also, as far as your husband not understanding the gravity of the situation, why would he lie about where he was and delete texts if he thought it wasn't a big deal? People don't hide things from their partner that they think are fine, barring cases of abuse. There is way too much red flag shady behavior from your husband to overlook. And TBH, you have no idea what your husband said to this woman about your marriage. He could have told her anything. Reaching out to her will not solve your issue, which is your husband's lack of honesty. This is a husband problem. You address it with him. He's the one who got drunk. He's the one who stayed at her place. He's the one who lied. He went along with all of this on his own. He can't help it if a colleague is interested, but he sure as hell could shut it down. I work in a male-dominated field. Often travel with male colleagues, which includes dinners and drinks and such. I have had more than one profess feelings or make a pass even though they knew I was married. I can't help that. But I definitely shut them down and told my partner. He mostly laughs about it with me, but I sure am not staying in someone's hotel room or otherwise entertaining their notions. Don't call the other woman. That's nuts. She's not the problem. Your husband is.